What if I have been waiting for one small thing my whole life and my human never knew? Maybe you thought you already understood me because you feed me, clean my litter box, pet me, buy me toys, and let me sleep somewhere warm. And I know you are trying, but sometimes the things I wait for are not big, expensive, or difficult. They are tiny signals repeated every day, the kind that tell my body I am safe here. I may have been waiting for a high place that belongs to me, a hand that does not touch until I invite it, a human who sits down on the floor instead of always standing above me, a moment to sniff before being touched, a day that follows a rhythm I can trust, and a voice that answers when I speak. The hardest part is that most of these things have been right in front of you every day. So before you think I'm hard to understand, let me show you the simple things I may have been waiting for. The first thing I have been waiting for is a high place that belongs to me. You may see me jump onto the refrigerator, a shelf, or the top of the bookcase and assume I am being difficult, curious, or badly behaved. So you pull me down because it looks like climbing for no reason. But to me, height is not mischief. It is safety. When I am above the room, I can understand it better because I can watch the doorway, notice movement, follow the presence of strangers, other animals, and small changes in the space around me. From up there, I do not have to guess what is coming next, and that helps my body relax instead of staying braced. When I do not have a place like that, I may hide under the bed, behind a chair, or in some low corner whenever I feel scared or overloaded, not because I want to leave you, but because I cannot find a safe way to remain near you. A cat tree by the window, a sturdy wall shelf, a secure spot on a bookcase, or even a tall chair with a soft blanket can become the place where I stop merely avoiding and start quietly observing. That bit of height gives me choice, perspective, and the feeling that I have my place. When I can watch the room from above, I stop feeling like a guest in your house and start feeling like I belong in our home. The second thing I have been waiting for is a hand that knows how to wait. After having a place above the room where I can feel safe, I also need to know that closeness will not be taken from me before I am ready. You may see me walk past you and think it is the perfect moment to pet me, because to you, touching me feels like love. But every time a hand lands on my head before I have chosen it, a little piece of control disappears. And control is one of the ways my body decides whether this home is safe. If I rub my head against your hand, lift my tail, step towards you, curl into your lap, or lean my cheek into you, I am saying yes in the quiet language I know. But if I turn my face away, pull my head back, step out of reach, flick my tail, rotate my ears, or leave, I am asking for space, not rejecting your love. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is let me pass without touching me, sit still, breathe softly, and wait until I choose to come closer. When I invite your hand, your touch feels like trust instead of pressure on my own terms each day. The moment you stop reaching for me all the time, I may finally feel safe enough to come closer. The third thing I have been waiting for is for you to come down to my world. Once I know your hand can wait, I also need to know that your whole body can feel less like something above me and more like something beside me. You may not realize how tall you are from where I live, how quickly your feet move across the room, how large your movements feel, or how often love arrives from over my head. You may bend down only because you want to be close, but to a shy cat, a new cat, or a cat who has learned to fear people, even kindness can feel too big when it comes from above. So sometimes, do not call me, do not reach for me, and do not ask me to perform trust before I am ready. Just sit on the floor a few feet away and let the space between us stay calm. I may only look at you at first. I may stay where I am, but my body may soften. I may blink, stretch, come closer, or simply keep resting while feeling a little less guarded than before. That quiet choice matters because you have entered my level without taking anything from me. For a cat like me, that can feel like respect. Sometimes the fastest way to reach my heart is not to call me up, but to sit down where I can meet you. The fourth thing I have been waiting for is a proper hello. After you come down to my world, the next kindness is letting me read you before your hand becomes part of my space. You may be used to walking straight toward me and rubbing my head because you think touch is the greeting, but for me, the greeting often begins before touch ever happens. Scent is how I understand the world. It tells me who you are in this moment, where you may have been, what you carry on your skin, whether your body feels calm, and whether this small second is safe enough for closeness. So instead of reaching over me, offer one finger or the back of your hand a few inches from my nose, then wait. Let me decide if I want to move toward you. If I sniff, rub my cheek against you, or press my head into your hand, I am giving you a quiet yes, and a gentle touch may feel welcome. But if I turn away, lean back, or step out of reach, please let that answer be enough. I am not being cold. I'm only asking for time to understand. When you give me that tiny pause, you turn contact into consent and closeness into trust. When you let me sniff first, your hand stops being a surprise and becomes a safe invitation. The fifth thing I have been waiting for is a day I can understand. After your hand becomes an invitation instead of a surprise, I still need the world around us to feel less random. You may think I only care about the food in my bowl, but I read the day through patterns, not clocks. I notice the first movements of morning, the time my meal appears, the moment we usually play, the hour the house becomes quiet, and the place where you often sit when the day is ending. These ordinary pieces become my map of safety. When meals move wildly from one hour to another, when playtime disappears for days, when you return at different times and everything changes without warning, that map can break apart inside me. I may seem restless, clingy, distant, or demanding, but often I am only trying to understand what will happen next. A routine does not mean your life must become perfect or robotic. I do not need every minute to repeat the same way. I only need a few steady anchors I can trust. Like meals near the same time, 5 or 10 minutes of familiar play, a small evening ritual, or you sitting in a place I recognize. When those things return again and again, my body starts to believe that the home is stable, even when the day is not completely the same. I relax because I can predict a little more and I can breathe easier. A predictable day tells my body that the world is not about to change without warning. The sixth thing I have been waiting for is your voice answering mine. After a day I can understand, one of the smallest anchors you can give me is the sound of you noticing me. You may think talking to a cat is silly or unnecessary because I cannot answer you the way another person would. But I have been trying to speak to you for a long time. I meow because humans do not always read scent, tail, eyes, whiskers, or my body the way another cat might. So I call from the doorway, from the kitchen, from the hallway, or beside the sofa, not always because something is wrong, but because I am reaching towards you in the language I learned for us. You do not need perfect words. Say good morning when you see me. Tell me what you are doing while you move through the room. Greet me when you come home. Speak gently when you put down my food, or when I look up at you as if I have something to say. What matters is not the meaning of every sentence, but the familiar rhythm, the softness, and the attention inside your voice. When you answer me, I feel less like background in your life and more like someone you recognize. I may not understand every word, but I know when the voice I love is speaking to me. None of these things are grand. A high place to watch from, a hand that knows how to wait, a person who sits down on the floor, a hello made through scent, a day I can predict, and a voice that answers mine may seem small to you. But to me, they are proof that this home has room for the way I need to feel safe. They tell me I am not just living near you, but belonging with you. I was not asking for much. I was asking for a world that remembers how a cat feels safe. Maybe I am just a cat, but I know when a home finally feels like mine. I know it in the high place where I can watch without fear, in the hand that waits until I choose it, in the person who sits near me without asking for anything, and in the scent I am allowed to read before touch. I know it in the day that returns with gentle patterns and in the familiar voice that answers when I try to speak. I do not need a perfect human. I only need small moments, repeated long enough to become trust. Which of these 6 things do you think your cat has been waiting for?